My name is Niccolò. I'm originally from Florence, even though in the last years I've been living between Milan, London, and actually also Southeast Asia. I'm calling now from US, where I am with my current startup, my last startup, Kiwi Local. I studied business and finance in Italy and in London, and while I was studying, I started my different ventures, mainly ventures in online and in IT. I started actually selling online collection cards on eBay, where in a few months, actually, it was a first business, a small one, but it was pretty successful to be the first business. It was the thing that gave me the courage and also the trust in myself to start doing other businesses. In a few months, we became on eBay, and that really enhanced our confidence about the fact that in online we could trust, and online there was a lot of potential. After doing that, I moved to another business. It was online and partially offline, which was basically setting up public relationship group in Italy. In a month, on social media, we were among the first to use social media in Italy in that segment. We were able to build a quite large events organization group in Italy that eventually brought me also to build the initial team of venture, which is Kiwi Local, and a venture that I started when I was 19, and I've been working on that for the last 3 years. What I've been doing in Kiwi Local is basically creating a company that is able to support large brands and large organizations worldwide. We now work with a number of multinational companies and sports teams to help them manage their communities in a smarter way by using mobile technologies. The most important point is the team. The team is everything. A lot of people say it, but that is really the single most important thing. What I understood in time by working in online ventures is that actually one good person can be worth and can be valuable to your company as much as 10, 20 average people. And by like a good person, I mean not only a person that is very smart, but also a person that is very pragmatic, a person that is very motivated and that really believes in your business. And when we talk about team, I had some very good experiences with some of my co-founders. Some of them are really amazing people, and thanks to them, I could build the last two ventures, the PR Group and Kiwi Local. But I also had some bad experiences with some other people. Sometimes I relied a lot on people who were extremely smart, extremely intelligent from a number of perspectives, but that probably were not the right people to work with in a startup, where maybe people who were very focused on working on their own, but were not really that good when they had to interact with other people around. And what I found out is that as a founder of a company, you need to focus at least, I would say, 30 to 50% of your time in making sure that the team you have around you is the right team. It may look like a large amount of time, a lot of time, but that is actually not. Because the people you are surrounding you with are the people who will eventually lead you to succeed or to fail. So you need to spend a lot of time around that. Make sure that the right people inside the company are motivated and stay around you, aligned with your vision. And also you need to make sure that if you have any toxic person inside the company, someone that is ruining the culture, someone who is not really aligned with the rest of the team, or you make it clear with that person that you cannot go on working together. And that is very important, because if you don't let this happen, if you let that person stay in the company for too long, the risk is that it's going to ruin the whole company. So this is a lesson I learned myself. At the very beginning, I was making the mistake that, I mean, I was trying to always try to save a relationship with a person when that was not working inside the company. But at the end of the day, I really realized that indeed, if that situation happened, it's really way better to make it clear to that person that you simply cannot go on rather than trying to save the relationship for like a long time. So again, team is the most important thing inside the company, and is, I would say, the toughest lesson I have learned in the last years. I think that like business is a relevant part of life, but it's not, of course, life itself. So if I talk about life overall, in 10 years' time, I would really like to be able to have the flexibility that enables me to have a family, I spend a lot of time with my family while at the same time building my venture. So this is my goal from a life perspective. If I focus about business, it's not really about the money. What my goal would be, I would really like to build a system, a platform, and that is why we're also building an incubator right now that can enable me to create serial businesses, a number of different businesses in a repeated way, and that is as one goal mainly, two goals mainly. The first is to be able to innovate, to create new successful products that can actually improve people's lives. And that is something that a lot of people say, but I really believe that at the end of the day, entrepreneurs are among the people who have the highest capability to improve in a dramatic way the lives of people who are around them. And if I'm able, together with teammates, to create a platform that can create not only one business, but like serial businesses, I really believe that this innovation and this like life enhancement could really become reality. The second thing is really creating jobs. When I started looking at my future a few years ago, I saw two different options. The first option was like to create a very good job for myself. That was, I mean, a good option for sure. So creating like a successful career inside a company, make money on your own, whatever. Like, but making a career yourself. The second option was creating a career for yourself, but most of all, creating careers for others, empowering others with your job. And if I have to compare the two things, to me, it looks like a no-brainer. If you have the possibility to create a career not only for yourself, but to create jobs for other people, to empower other people, to understand which are the strengths of other people and create jobs for them and for their families through your ventures, I believe that if that is the case, you can really have an impact on society. And if I look at the world, if I look at people who really have changed the world, not all of them, but a large percentage of them are people who have created companies. And through their companies, they have employed thousands of people. And that is something that, I mean, it looks like a dream, but eventually it will be probably my highest ambition. So innovate while creating jobs for people that are able to empower these people. It looks like a dream again, but I believe that if you don't have like a high vision in life, it's gonna be really tough to make things big. So if you are inspired by such a vision, everything becomes also way simpler when you work a lot of hours every day, when you face challenges. And that is my dream in business, I would say. I think there are two main challenges. The first is keeping people motivated, and the second is being able to work people even if you're not in the same place. And I would say that the two things are kind of linked. I'll make you an example from my business. In my business, I have my development team, which is in Pisa, in Italy, one of the best IT development centers in Italy. We have some of the best universities down there. but we don't have much business opportunities down there. So my business development is in Milan. But then, since I need to work with a number of clients which are international, we have people who have been working from London. Now I'm in New York. I will be in San Francisco. Having said that, the main challenge is that we are working in a company that needs constant communication and needs all the team to be constantly motivated. If you are physically in the same place, this becomes way easier because people can like look at you, see your enthusiasm, communicate with you on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not saying it's easy to keep people motivated, but it's way easier. If you are around the world, if you are always moving, this becomes really a challenge. So in our case, we try to address this issue in two different ways. The first is try to keep the level of communication with the right people inside the company very high. So we try to always keep in contact regardless of the distance. And this is very important because if you let distance drive communication down, then you start losing business. You start having people who are remote losing the motivation, starting to lose the sign of where the direction of the company is, and this can be absolutely detrimental for a company. The second is try to make people responsible and try to make people feel like their job is really important and actually not only feel like their job is really important, also give them the responsibilities so that even if they are from remote, even if you're not like micromanaging every single task, they can own what they're doing and they can stay motivated. I make you another example in this. One year ago, we hired a girl in our team. She was right after university. She had completed her bachelor, and she didn't have much like work experience in large organizations or like in startup companies. And at the very beginning, we were working quite closely. We were like, she was working as a business development assistant, a sales assistant, directly with me. So, I mean, it was quite easy to communicate because we were together all the time. We were talking together all the time. But after a few months, I needed someone who was like responsible for sales and who was able like to work in an autonomous way from remote, even without like meeting every day. And I could have hired like a very experienced person, but I decided to give this position to her. And I decided to give her this position to her for two reasons. The first was because there are two main challenges. The first is keeping people motivated, and the second is being able to work people even if you're not in the same place. And I would say that the two things are kind of linked. I'll make you an example from my business. In my business, I have my development team, which is in Pisa, in Italy, one of the best like IT development centers in Italy. We have some of the best universities down there, but we don't have much business opportunities down there. So my business development is in Milan. But then, since I need to work with a number of clients which are international, we have people who have been working from London. Now I'm in New York. I will be in San Francisco. Having said that, the main challenge is that we are working in a company that needs constant communication and needs all the team to be constantly motivated. If you are physically in the same place, this becomes way easier because people can like look at you, see your enthusiasm, communicate with you on a day-to-day basis. And I'm not saying it's easy to keep people motivated, but it's way easier. If you are around the world, if you are always moving, this becomes really a challenge. So in our case, we try to address this issue in two different ways. The first is try to keep the level of communication with the right people inside the company very high. So we try to always keep in contact regardless of the distance. And this is very important because if you let distance drive communication down, then you start losing pieces. You start having people who are remote losing the motivation, starting to lose the sign of where the direction of the company is, and this can be absolutely detrimental for a company. The second is try to make people responsible and try to make people feel like their job is really important, and actually not only feel like their job is really important, also give them the responsibilities so that even if they are from remote, even if you're not like micromanaging every single task, they can own what they're doing and they can stay motivated. I make you another example in this. One year ago, we hired a girl in our team. She was right after university. She had completed her bachelor, and she didn't have much like work experience in large organization or like in startup companies. And at the very beginning, we were working quite closely. We were like, she was working as a business development assistant, a sales assistant, directly with me. So, I mean, it was quite easy to communicate because we were together all the time. We were talking together all the time. But after a few months, I needed someone who was like responsible for sales and who was able like to work in an autonomous way from remote, even without like meeting every day. And I could have hired like a very experienced person, but I decided to give this position to her. And I decided to give her this position to her for two reasons. The first was because in the first month we were working together, I already saw a lot of potential in her. The second was because I knew that as the business was developing, I couldn't stay that long with her, together with her every day. I had to stay a little bit more far away from her because of like a number of distance issues. And for that reason, I thought that the best way to keep her motivated was giving her way more responsibilities. So it may seem like counterintuitive because it's like, come on, you're giving responsibilities to a person, even if you're like going distant, you're like starting to work remotely from this person, and this person is very new to the company, but actually it turned out to work very well because by giving her more responsibility, even if we were like remote and working from a distant like position, she was motivated all the time because of the new challenge. And because of the new challenge, actually the teleworking did work very, very well. So I touched 2 points at the same time. The first challenge I was mentioning was like keeping people motivated. And I really think that a very good way to keep people motivated is to give them a higher extent of autonomy. If you micromanage a person too much, that person is not going to deliver as much as it's going to deliver if you give that person more responsibility. And the second is teleworking. And I think that teleworking can be extremely beneficial for nowadays companies. Are like business needs require people not to be in the same pace all the time. And it's really linked to the first because if you are in teleworking with a person, you need to be able to give that person responsibility and to delegate. The main point is, okay, the main point in everything, I think, if you want to be successful in life, is passion. This is something, again, that everyone says, but it's true. It's just true. If you don't believe in what you do, and if other people around you don't see in your eyes that you really believe in what you're doing, that you're really passionate about your job, people are not going to follow you. Clients are not going to buy from you. Investors are not going to commit their money on you. So passion is the first thing, not only for yourself, because, I mean, if you're passionate about what you're doing, it's going to be so much easier to work, but also for people who surround you. Because if people see the passion, they're going to follow you. The second point related to passion, and that is a mistake that many startuppers do, especially here in Italy, is if you have ideas, talk about these ideas. Tell about your ideas to people you know. I see so many startuppers who have ideas and just keep ideas for their own. They say, yeah, someone is going to copy them to me. Yeah, I have this idea, but I cannot tell them to you. That doesn't make any sense. If you have an idea, you need to tell the word about that idea. You need to tell about that idea to journalists, to people, to mentors, to your mother, to clients, to everyone. And that is really for two reasons. The first reason is because by telling other people about your idea, you're going to improve your idea because you're going to collect feedbacks from other people that help you improve it. The second reason is that by telling to people about your idea, it's more likely that people are going to follow you. The first investor I got was actually, many times people ask us, how did you get money? From your family, from your friends and relatives? No, we didn't raise a single euro from our family. It was actually from professors, from people met randomly at conferences, and then we met a serial entrepreneur who believed in us and gave us the money to follow up his project. And how did these people find us? Because we were pitching our idea everywhere. I was talking about our idea everywhere. And so if you have an idea, talk about these ideas. Take risks and talk about these ideas to people. Even because, I mean, if you don't talk about your ideas, you're going to spend too much time in thinking about your idea on your own, and you're not spending time in seeing what the feedback from the real world is. And that is eventually what you need to then create something. That is really related also to the lean startup movement, in which I really believe. I mean, it's test your thing. If you have an idea, test it. Get people know about that, get reactions from people, and then build on it to build something even better. And then another thing I would say, and this is more like can be applied in life, this is something I really learned from like strategy consultants. I've been working in strategy consulting for a while, and I actually think I would like to spend some more time in strategy consulting in the future because I really like the way strategy consulting think and approach the thinking. Is the 80-20 rule. Is the fact that in life, in a problem, in a business, 80% of the output is driven by 20% of the things you do. So it's really worth in life stopping and thinking about, okay, I'm doing a lot of things, but what are the 20% things that are really relevant and that are gonna make the difference in what I'm doing? In our case, in Kiwi, for example, was getting the first large client. Okay, we can do many things. We can promote, we can refine our small detail inside the application, we can print our new business cards. Okay, there are many actions you can do. But then there are some small actions or like big actions that will drive a tremendous amount of the result, the final result. So you need to be sure that you spend time thinking about what is the 20% of the things that are going to drive the 80% of the results. And this is not what they teach you at school usually. At school, usually, what they teach you, at least in Italy, is to get things done in a perfect way. That is like do 100% of the things like perfectly. Focus about every single detail and deliver something perfect. Yes, okay, in theory, that is the right way. But at the end of the day, first, done is better than perfect. It's way better to have something that is done and is working than having something that is perfect and in every detail and that took you 2 years to do. And second, you don't need to get every single thing right and to boil the ocean. You don't need to analyze every single detail of everything. You need to analyze that 20% of the things that are going to drive 80% of the result. So the 80-20 rule in life, I think, is important with everything you do. In school, it's going to be like, okay, what are like the subjects and like the key things I need to study to really understand this subject and to go well at this. And in business, it's going to be like, okay, what are the 20% things that are gonna really make the difference in this business? And I think it's gonna be applied in almost everything in life.
Au revoir.